Welcome to the 69th episode of Lalitha Sahasranam Stotra. The unconditional cosmic source providing the nourishment of the nectar of unconditional cosmic energy. So let us try to define or understand unconditionality in terms of the language of mathematics. So the ratio of 1 over 0 will give you infinite. It is termed indeterminate in terms of the mathematics, and hence it can be infinite. 1 over 0 is infinite. So 0 here is the soonya yogam, and infinite is unconditional, or in fact both 0 and infinity both are manifestations of the unconditionality. And so if a large number is multiplied with a small number, then the result is close to the unity, or the geometric mean of a large number and a small number is close to unity. So the unity is advaitha, that is oneness, seeing oneness in everything that we do. And the limits of this advaitha, or the controlling mechanisms of the advaitha, are one side is unconditionality in the form of infinity, other side is unconditionality in the form of soonya. So these two are related. It's soonya and infinity are related in terms of through the nectar of unconditionality, and this nectar of unconditionality through soonya and through 0 and infinity, that cannot be practiced in our daily life. So hence this nectar is the best administered as a geometric mean of these two true advaita, that is one. And this is exactly what is being trained or taught through the various through the 1,000 namas of Lalitha Sahasranam Stotra. Okay, so let us move on. The next nama is Nirvikalpa. So the two extremes or two ends of this nama are the fruit of karmacharan performed in advaita, that is oneness, seeing everything in oneness. Whatever we do, ability to see the oneness, the presence of the super soul in all the actions that we perform, that is advaita. So the fruit of karmacharan performed in advaita, and that fruit, passing that fruit to the eshwara. Eshwara is the guru form that is beyond the 5 elements, who manifests through the 5 elements. So the one end of this Nirvikalpa is the fruit of advaita karmacharana, that is administered to the eshwara. Similarly, the fruit of soonya karmacharana, that is administered to nirishwara. So by being beyond these two, able to control these two, is Nirvikalpa. So the Vikalpa, the term Vikalpa was addressed in Nirvikara to some extent. Vikalpa essentially means, which is the Vikalpa is the opposite of the Sankalpa. Essentially, what it means is the mismatch, state of being in a mismatch, while Sankalpa is a match state. So, what is happening here through Nirvikalpa? So, after getting saturated in samsara yoga through Bhedanasini, so there is there is a realization of the mismatches that are present. So those who operate in the witness mode, they have the ability to perform the eshwara yaga or nirishwara yaga, and whatever they do, it is for the benefit of the universe, those who are in the witness mode. And so those who do not witness mode means they have the ability to, they stay in the current, and hence they do not carry any mismatches, and they have the ability to do positive energy karmacharana or negative energy karmacharana as the situation demands. So those who are in witness mode, they can perform eshwara yaga or nirishwara yaga for the benefit of the universe, because they don't do any of this for their own personal benefit. On the other hand, those who are not in the witness mode, the nirishwara yaga that they perform, it can be devastating, as we knew from Nirishwara, the Daksha Prajapati, the episode of the events that unfolded through Daksha Prajapati's Nirishwara yaga. So there are many examples to verify or to prove this hypothesis. So in the same Daksha Yajna, the Nirishwara yaga performed by Daksha Prajapati, his daughter Sati Devi ignited Kundalini energy, and she sacrificed her life. She got self-immolated. And so this, she has done it in a witness mode. This entire operation, she did it performed in witness mode, and hence subsequently the unconditionality that was present in her body, the unconditional energy that was present in her body, that they were transformed or transcended into Shaktipitas, formation of the Shaktipitas, that means concentrated zones of the cosmic energy. And this yaga, Daksha Prajapati Nirishwara yaga, was performed in the planet Mars. It was not done on Earth. So that we will come to know that later. So therefore, so this unconditional act done in the witness mode also transcended onto the planet Earth in the formation of the Shaktipitas. So this happened because Sati Devi, whatever act she did, although it is an extreme act of self-immolation, but she has done it in a witness mode. So similarly, this happened even prior to the formation of the earth. So it is a very in the time scales probably it is very very ancient, but compared to that time scale, not long ago, maybe about 1,000 years or few thousand years back, Shankaracharya's disciple also performed this nirishwara karmacharana. So on one occasion, he was addressed or called by his guru Shankaracharya, and this disciple doesn't even care. There is a water body that he needs to cross to reach to the guru, who is on the other side of the flowing water. So he just blindly steps onto the water, and wherever he steps his feet, there is a lotus formation that happened, and hence this disciple is known as Padmapadacharya. So this act is also nirishwara karmacharana, and both these examples demonstrates the power of unconditionality. So those who are enlightened and operate in witness mode, they have this ability to transform unconditionality into conditionality, or conditionality into unconditionality, as was discussed in Nirishwara Nama. So therefore, Nirvikalpa is the nama that identifies the mismatches in the act of karmacharana. So the two ends of this mismatches are the advaitha karmacharana fruit giving to the eshwara. Other end is the soonya karmacharana fruit delivering to nirishwara. So that is Nirvikalpa. So next nama is Nirabadha. So the two ends of this nama are badha, which is called suffering, and the other end is pain, or pain, which is the manifestation of the positive energy, while suffering is the manifestation of the negative energy. So by being beyond these two, able to control these two, is Nirabadha. So the mismatches that are identified in Nirvikalpa, the root of those mismatches are in other words, the root of Nirvikalpa is Nirabadha. So why there is a mismatch? Mismatch exists because we choose positive energy and we perform an action in the negative energy, or we choose negative energy, perform an action in the positive energy. Hence we build up mismatches. So that what is the training that is given in Nirvikalpa? Nirvikalpa has done what it performed is it has done a churning operation, and in the process of churning, so all the mismatches were surfaced that were present in the body were surfaced. So, and when these mismatches surface, then the root cause for these mismatches gets identified through Nirabadha. So the reason for this mismatches is to attribute what is real to fantasy and to attribute what is fantasy to the reality. So that is the reason. So from kalpa it is kalpitam. Kalpitam is originated from kalpa. Kalpitam is what is not real, imagining that or accepting that as a reality. So that is kalpitam. So through Nirvikalpa, the churning that was performed, through that the mismatches were identified or they were surfaced. So through Nirabadha, so what is real and what is imaginary, that is mean that understanding is that understanding is the individual gets that kind of understanding through Nirabadha. So let us see an example of this Nirabadha. So as we have discussed, the two ends are pain and the suffering. So let us say a person is an individual is walking on the street, and a speeding vehicle collides with this, hits this individual, and this individual leg got fractured or seriously damaged. So what happens is that so this is the event that happened really, okay, and it happens to many. It happened every day. It happens to many people. The accidents are happening every day. So this is a real thing that is happening, and so the individual gets admitted to the hospital, and so there is a he undergoes surgery or whatever. Before surgery, there is a he's administered sedatives to cause drowsiness for him. So he slips into state of drowsiness, and during that state, surgery has been performed. Then when he gets awakened from the drowsiness state, what is the first thing, first mood or first experience that the individual gets, experiences? The first thing that he gets is he experiences his pain that was caused because of that accident. That was the first experience that the individual gets after reaching the awakened state. So that which is real, the first experience is the real, and subsequent to that, then he starts to think what happened to his life, the suffering that he is going through. He starts to make a mountain of a mole. So the first experience is real, which is the pain. The next is he goes through the emotions of the suffering, that why it has happened to him, what did he do wrong, all kinds of things, that as if it's the end of the world for him. So these are all manifestations of suffering. So therefore here the pain is real, but even the pain is temporary, because once the injury is healed, there is no pain. Since pain is real, that's why we say labor pains. We don't say labor sufferings, because pain is real. Because after going through the labor pain and the delivery of the baby, the mother is happy to receive the newborn baby. So happiness is a positive energy, so hence pain is positive energy. So the arrival of the newborn baby can the happiness associated with the arrival of the newborn baby, the mother can forget the pain of delivery. So so therefore pain is the extreme example of positive energy. Suffering is the extreme example of negative energy. So therefore the temporary happiness, the reason for the temporary happiness can be the pain which is real, while the reason for a permanent suffering can be for a permanent state of unhappiness can be, the reason for that can be the suffering which is not real. So these are the two ends. So if the same accident, if it has happened to, let's say, a dog walking on the street, it also goes through the pain. There's no doubt about that. But it will probably bear the pain for some time, and then it limps and gets on with his life, daily life. It will not make a mountain of what happened to to his or her life. So it will not make it a permanent suffering for its life. So therefore, it seems that animals are better equipped than the humans when it comes to handling this subject of suffering. So through Nirabadha, so what is permanently imaginary or permanently unreal, and which is which is real, that is reality that is in current. So this kind of training is being provided through Nirabadha, and being beyond these two, that is Nirabadha. So a permanent imaginary world or permanent fantasy, or a reality that is in the current. So beyond these two and able to control these two is Nirabadha. So Nirabadha identifies Nirvikalpa, churning of Nirvikalpa resulted in the identification of the mismatches. The root of these mismatches is able to see the world differently. That is, what is real, we are perceiving it as fantasy. What is fantasy, we are perceiving as reality. That is Nirabadha. So the next nama is Nirbheda. So the root of Nirabadha is Nirbheda. So Nirbheda has two ends. that is um, a, a karmacharan or action that is that that has the ability to transform, a transformable karmacharana or action, or a karmacharana or action that is invariant. So beyond these two and able to control these two is Nirbheda. So kalpa, we have already discussed the kalpita, which is not real or a made up story, is originated from kalpa. So through Nirabadha, we have found that suffering and pain are the two. Suffering and pain, they are part of they're part of the transformation that is going on within the individual. So while the pain is a temporary reality that is undergoing a change or a transformation, suffering is not real. It is manifested, self-manifested. It is imaginary, and hence it is untransformable. It cannot be. It is unchangeable in time and space. Suffering is unchangeable because we can make a mountain of it, or we can just nullify it, and it is not real. Therefore, it is unchangeable. Whereas pain is temporary, so it changes in time, and it is real. So this kind of understanding is provided through Nirabadha. That's why even after the pain is healed, the suffering is it will stay forever because it is unchanging. It is unchanging because it is not real. That's as simple as that. So therefore, that the thing that changes or undergoes a transformation so that undergoes a transformation, thinking that as a permanent, thinking that as a permanent permanent thing is it is foolishness to think that something that is undergoing a transformation or change in time, attributing that or associating that to a permanent state, that is foolishness. So thinking that even thinking that suffering is permanent, instead of overcoming that, thinking that suffering is permanent is foolishness. So as far as the pain is concerned, it stays for some time and it is healed. So it has gone through a transformation. So thinking that the pain will stay forever, and associated with that pain, that suffering that the individual has gone through, extending that into the future and the past, that is foolishness. So what is changing in time and place? We have discussed this few occasions, few times here through dharma. Dharma Chakra. Dharma means something that changes, undergoes a transformation. So through the nadi, through the river Dharma, we have found that Dharma is something that changes in time and space, because the river is not the same. It is different in different places and different seasons. So that is river Dharma. So therefore, this entire the nature is going through a transformation, going through a change. There are some that goes through a rapid change. There are some that changes slowly, in a sluggish manner. So the river undergoes a transformation and finally ends up with the unification with the sea. So that is ever going process, ever ongoing process, and that is unchangeable in time and place. That doesn't undergo a transformation. Or in reality, it also undergoes a slight transformation. The ocean or sea, during the pull and push effects of full moon and new moon. But compared to the transformation or the change that river undergoes, the sea or ocean, we can say, is unchangeable unchangeable in time and space. So through this Nirbheda, something that is unchangeable or changes very slow, change happening very slow, that is known as, that can be attributed as truth or satya, and something that undergoes a transformation known as dharma. So we come to know that what is undergoing a transformation in time and space has to get terminated into something that doesn't change in time and space. That means dharma has to merge into satya. So in the same manner, the ajnana is lack of knowledge, or the blindness, that is ajnana. So if ajnana is anti-clockwise, it can be termed as adharma, which is the anti-clockwise direction of dharma. So this ajnana gets transformed into jnana through the rays of sun. So there is a transformation that is happening. So what is the analysis of this Nirbheda Nama? So thinking that the suffering assuming that suffering is permanent, it is not changing in time and place, it is not transforming. Assuming that suffering is permanent, it is forever. So that kind of assumption is not true. It is not satya. So similarly, the healing process that happened, the transformation that happened to the pain, so that is dharma, because it is changing in time and place. So similarly, the river uniting with the ocean or sea, also known as dharma, and the sluggish change that is happening in sea, and even more fine changes that happens in sun. Sun is almost unchangeable, but there are some changes that happen in sun. The time scales are much larger. So that these changes that happens in sea and sun, they are attributed as truth or satya. So this kind of analysis is it becomes evident through Nirbheda. So so the mismatches that are highlighted through Nirabadha, so through Nirbheda, the analysis is being performed. So in the past, the unchangeable, unsaturated, the genetic impressions, so they were carrying forward as these impressions were thinking, assuming that these impressions were forever, and this was being attributed as satya, and that is the foolishness, and because of that they got distanced from dharmacharana. So now after the saturation in samsara yoga through Bhedanasini, so the next yoga, there is a training that is given through Nirvikalpa, Nirabadha, Nirbheda. So through Nirbheda, the individual gets the training of satya, the truth, unchanging nature of the truth, unchanging nature of the dharma. So this kind of training is given through Nirbheda. So the next nama is Bhedanasini. So therefore the Nirvikalpa, the churning of Nirvikalpa has identified the mismatches, and mismatches, the root of mismatches is able to see the reality with the fantasy with the reality. That is the reason for mismatches. So having identified those through Nirabadha, so Nirbheda provides it gives the root cause for this lopsided nature, that is the fantasy and the reality, through dharma and satya. So having identified all these root causes, Bhedanasini provides the karmacharan or action, the training to overcome these deficiencies. That is Bhedanasini. So Bhedanasini provides training in dharmacharana, the action in the dharma, and similarly action in satyaacharan, and being beyond these two, able to control these two actions, dharmacharana, satyaacharan, is Bhedanasini. So when they were the individuals are behaving like beasts, behaving like animals, so they have treated satya as dharma, dharma as satya. So in that state, they got into a vicious cycle. That's why they were not able to accommodate themselves into any of the divisions that were performed. So as part of that, and subsequently, when the unsaturated genetic impressions were taken care, the first order, second order, all those effects are taken care, and so they have been reinducted into the samsara yoga through Nirbhava Bhavanasini. So there were some more impressions that they karmacharana, through karmacharana, some more impressions they were accumulated. So in the process, the mismatches and were identified, and the root causes for this identified. So that this identification is that there are occasions that dharma was perceived as satya, occasions the satya was perceived as dharma. So that resulted in manifestation of pain, suffering. That means what is real is perceived as imaginary, what is imaginary is perceived as real. Suffering is imaginary, it is self-manifested. We can't pinpoint the suffering, but we can pinpoint the pain. I have a pain on my ligament, I have pain in my neck, I have pain in my stomach. But suffering, there is no pinpointed location. So, but we can make a mountain of that suffering. So it is self-exerted and it is imaginary. Suffering is imaginary. And to this extent, the piti is also a dangerous precedent of this suffering. So a lot of people exhibit pity in the name of expression of love, but pity it promotes mismatch, it promotes negative energy. But there's nothing wrong in following the negative energy if the individual chooses to be in the negative energy, but assuming that we are promoting positive energy of love and affection and expressing pity, it promotes mismatch. So this expression of the pity, we see it in many walks of life, starting from when the person is having met with an accident and in the hospital, or when somebody passes away. So these kind of, or somebody having a trouble in life, facing crisis in life. So these acts of pity we experience. So the pity is promotion of mismatch. It's as simple as that, because they are administering it in the wrong direction, in the sense that in order to promote the love and affection, they are expressing the pity. So it will only further aggravate the suffering. So the changing nature of the pain and the unchanging nature of the satya. So all these changes, or all these transformations, if an individual is witnessing them in a witness mode, then he can witness the event of dharma terminating into the satya. Then the sankalpa, or the match state of the individual, gets strengthened. So in this mode of operation, the mode of operation in which all the changes or transformations that are happening, they are part of this cycle, the nature cycle, and they eventually transform, get terminated into something that is unchangeable in nature. So all the changes or transformation has to get terminated in unchangeable eventually at some point in time. And this event, if individual is experiencing in a witness mode, it promotes or strengthens the sankalpa of that individual. So therefore, Bhedanasini provides training to the individual to overcome the deficiencies of the mismatches and the associated root causes through dharmacharana and satyaacharan. So in this context, the dharma means changing in time and space. That means changing ourselves, adopting ourselves in change with time and space. That is dharmacharana. So that's what nature also wants us to do. Whereas satyaacharan is unchangeable in time and space, like ocean or a sea, sun. So the dharmachana is it's easier to do, adopting ourselves with with time changing, passing time is easy to practice, while satyaacharan or being unchanged with passing time, to stay in the same mode, with that is invariant in time, it's very difficult to practice. While in reality, even dharmacharana is also difficult. Dharmacharana essentially, as it is mentioned, being adoptable, that means it provides the training to stay in the current, to operate in the current, not to be overwhelmed by what is going to happen or what has happened in the past, or not to think, not to make extended projections into the past and the future, just to stay in the current. That is what promotes dharmacharana also. But compared to dharmacharana, satyacharana is even more difficult, because you have to be invariant in time. So let us see an example of this dharmacharana, satyacharana. In Treta Yuga, the super soul who descended and assumed the body of a human through Rama. So Rama was described by Narada as having 64 diverse qualities or characteristics or traits. And so some of these 64 traits are dharma. He is having a characteristic of dharma, and satya dharma, that is another characteristic that he possesses. So Rama has worked tirelessly for 11,000 years to establish the dharma chakra, the wheel of dharma. So he followed the various manifestations of the dharma, that is changing nature in time and space. So he followed and adhered to these various dharmas, like putra dharma, that is how a son has to be adoptable to the changing nature of nature. The pati dharma, that is the changing nature, the adaptability of a husband. Then bhrata dharma, the adaptability of a brother. The sneha dharma, adaptability of a friend. Raja dharma, the adaptability of a king, how king has to make himself adaptable to changing situations, changing conditions that prevail in various seasons and various times. Similarly, seva dharma, the adaptability of a servant. So there are so many different ways of dharma he practiced, and he demonstrated to us how to do these various dharmas. However, he may be having this satya dharma as his quality, but as was mentioned, dharma has to terminate into satya. So through his karmacharana, Rama has tirelessly worked towards the dharma, establishing of the dharma chakra, but he never claimed close to the satya, which is unchanging in time and space. So although he is having that characteristic, although he is capable of exhibiting the karmacharana or action of satya, but he dedicated his entire lifetime only for dharma. So there is a difference coming close to that concept and getting terminated into that concept. There is a difference. So Rama tirelessly worked towards establishing of dharma, but he never got he never exhibited the act of satya. So it took him 11,000 years, tireless working of 11,000 years to master the art of dharma. That's why he is known as Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. So if all the formulae of dharma, if they have been if they are grouped together, and if some life force is injected into this these various formulae of dharma, then the body then it manifests as Rama, it seems. That is Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. So Rama has tirelessly worked only for dharma, but he could come close to satya, but he never practiced satya. So this may be difficult for many people to accept, but this is true. Whereas the Valmiki, when he unleashed Ramayana, so he unleashed it with the act of karmacharan of satya. So through satya he has unleashed Ramayana, hence he is able to see the dharma. So you have to be beyond the changing cycle to observe the changing cycle. That's what exactly Valmiki has done. That's why Ramayana is popular even today. And this Valmiki performing the act of Satya Karmacharana was proclaimed by himself in the 7th chapter of Ramayana, that is Uttarakanda. So this extraordinary gesture of super soul like Rama, who in spite of being capable of doing satyācharana, he only limited himself to dharmācharana, just to show us, demonstrate us the act of dharmācharana. He did not touch the satyācharana because satyācharana is difficult. So and it is difficult for the super soul to do dharmācharana for 11,000 years. He could have done the same amount of efficiency or work in 100 years in satyācharana, but he did not do it. He chose to do dharmācharana for 11,000 years with lot of hardship. What he was capable of doing it in much lesser time in satyācharana, he did not choose that option because he wants to demonstrate to us the concept of dharma, the manifestation of dharma in various ways. So hence in Vishnu Sahasranamam, Shiva preaches Parvati as Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. So he says that this entire Vishnu Sahasranama, if an individual cannot recite, so if he recites this one, that is Ramanama, that's enough. That he gets the same fruit as reciting the entire Vishnu Sahasranama. So Rama has the Ramanama has the same. It has got the same power as the 1,000 forms of the Vishnu. This was told by none other than Shiva to Parvati. So the reason for this kind of illustrates the belief or the love and affection that the super souls of so Shiva has on Rama. So the reason for this preaching of Shiva to Parvati is like this. Now Shiva is known as Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So he is known as manifestation of Satya, that is unchanging in time and space. He is invariant in time. That's why Satyam Shivam Sundaram. So Shiva obviously had a lot of compassion to Rama, because Rama tirelessly worked for 11,000 years, came close to Satya, but he never got terminated in Satya. Maybe after the closing of his incarnation, he would have terminated in Satya, but while he was performing 11,000 years the work that he did, so he never got terminated in Satya. He never exhibited satyaacharan. There may be some few occasions where the super soul act was drawn in, but that was very few and far between. So Shiva, who is a personification of Satya, so he had so much affection to Rama. So Rama came so much close to Satya, but he was not able to terminate it in Satya. So that's why Shiva says, so those who tirelessly dedicate themselves towards the adoptable nature throughout their life, so they eventually get terminated in Satya. So that is the essence of Shiva preaching to Parvati, Sri Rama Rama Ramaiti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane. So those who so by chanting this, it is a oath that the individual is taking, that I will dedicate my life to the adaptability, that is dharmacharan, and hence this will lead me to eventually to termination into Satya, which is unchanging in time and space. And so essentially what it means is that the soul energy getting terminated into or getting unified into the super soul energy. So that is what the essence of this preaching of Shiva to Parvati. So through Bhedanasini, the individual gets training in this both dharmacharan and satyaacharan. So that completes this sloka, Nirvikalpa, Nirabadha, Nirbheda, Bhedanasini. So one leading to other. Nirvikalpa, the churning of Nirvikalpa surfaces the mismatches. Mismatches, the root cause of mismatches are the lopsided nature of the viewing of this world, that is what is reality as fantasy, what is fantasy as the reality. The root cause of that is the unconditionality and the conditionality that is associated with Nirbheda. The Bhedanasini is the remedy to correct these deficiencies. So Nirvikalpa provides training to the faculty of personality. Nirabadha provides training to the faculty of discretion. Nirbheda to the faculty of discretion. Bhedanasini to the faculty of mind. So through Nirvikalpa, the faculty of personality is given nourishment of Satya and Dharma, that is related to nourishment of fire element of Satya and Dharma. So through Nirabadha, the nourishment of Satya and Dharma, the earth element of nourishment of Satya and Dharma were given to the faculty of discretion. Through Nirbheda, the water element of nourishment of Satya and Dharma are given to faculty of intellect. Bhedanasini, the air element of nourishment of Satya and Dharma are given to faculty of mind. So that completes this sloka, Nirvikalpa, Nirabadha, Bheda, Bhedanasini. So the remaining namas we will explore in the next episode. Thank you.